welcome to yet another FPL video. This is going to be a preview of Game Week 15, and as for Game Week 14, pretty mixed bag. So 63 points I'm fairly happy with, but I have gone down in rank to 94k so far. I've got 2 players left, and I'll be discussing how each player did and my thoughts going forward, because of course things change very quickly, and someone that you may think, oh, he's untouchable at the moment, he's going to stay in my team for a long time. A few weeks down the line, a few blanks, and then you reconsider your stance. And bad decision yet again involving Diaz and the captaincy, unfortunately, which is why instead of getting maybe 80, 90 points, I'm getting 63 at the moment, but we'll have to wait and see now. As you can see, Martinez, yet another clean sheet. That's 3 on the bounce, and that was the kind of form he was in before. Obviously I brought him in, and then he was kind of mixed bag, but last 3 games he's been faultless, and another clean sheet to add to his tally. And Martinez, he's got a very tough fixture run coming up, so the fixtures do swing around game week 16 onwards, but some double game weeks to come, and he doesn't have a blank game week in game week 18, which is important. No double game week in 19, but there's future ones to come, although they are against the likes of Newcastle, which is a good one, but then Man City away. Regardless of how toothless City have been recently, I still don't think that's an easy game for Martinez, and so I wouldn't expect too much there. But I mean, I'm not the type to change keepers really, unless I really don't know what to do and I've got a free transfer to burn. Then maybe I would consider it. But yeah, I think Martinez for now, he's staying. He's done very well in the past few weeks, so very happy with him. And moving on to Walker Peters, probably made a mistake in this regard because I played him because of his home record, or should I say Southampton's home record, where they've kept a lot of clean sheets. And Man City, they aren't really... I mean, you saw in the game, to be honest. I mean, Man City just aren't the same team on another day. If this was Man City from the Centurion season or the season afterwards, they could have scored 2, 3, maybe more. And I don't know, they just don't have that conviction in front of goal. But they did get the win. Walker Peters didn't get the clean sheet, and I put him over Soufal, which could be a mistake. But as for Kilman or Bissouma, probably won't be regretting it unless Kilman somehow plays. And as for Zouma and Chilwell, we have to wait and see what happens there. But I am yet again reconsidering the stance with Chelsea defenders. So depending on how the West Ham game goes today, I'll be analysing Zouma and Chilwell. Obviously how attacking they are, how many points they get. Of course, Chilwell's the more likely to get points, and that's why he's a far more popular option than Zouma. And most of Zuma's points have come from headers. And is that sustainable? Probably not. So there is a possibility of me moving from him to Diaz, but we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Moving on to the midfield, this is what I really like about the players I have. At least one of them produces a substantial haul each week, and this time around 3 of them did. And Grealish was looking like he was going to get a blank, maybe 3 points with a clean sheet, and once again very disappointing. But he gets 2 late assists. He wins a penalty for the 3rd goal, and for the 2nd he assisted Traore for his 1st ever Premier League goal, so very happy with that. But then when you look at Salah and Fernandes, very, very frustrating, because they're 2 people that talked about as captaincy options. I ended up going with the wrong one in Harry Kane, and to be honest, I didn't expect Spurs to be that toothless up front. But then again, if you look at the underlying statistics, Spurs have regressed, and this is something I have discussed for weeks, but I said, Son and Kane are so clinical and they're in the form of their lives that, I'm willing to be patient with them and to give them more weeks, because they just keep on hauling, and it's so difficult to, replace them. But I have reconsidered my stance in a way. I've always said that keeping 1 is probably the best thing to do, and I would rather keep 2 than have none. I still think that, but I have reconsidered having 2 of them, and I'll be discussing that. But Salah, this guy didn't even play the full 90 minutes. He came on as a substitute around the 57th minute for Mane, and he gets 2 goals. One of them was a world-class goal and an assist, and he gets some bonus points along the way. And if he started, he could have been in for a monster haul. But then again, it was just one of those freak results where Palace, everything they did, I mean, they just didn't look on it. And everything Liverpool tried, it just came off. So West Brom at home next. I will be discussing the captaincy, and Salah's definitely the standout. There's no doubt about that. And then Bruno Fernandes, like I said, the way Leeds play could just fall into Man United's hands. I didn't expect the 6-2 though. Didn't expect McTominay to score twice and get an assist. But Bruno Fernandes got the points, and very frustrating because I captained him last week against Sheffield, where he got 2 points, and instead I captained Kane and he blanks, so that's 2 captaincy blanks in a row. Very, very frustrating. Son didn't really do anything. He could have scored a goal, but Schmeichel made a really good save. And I still stand by what I said, where I thought Kane was the superior captaincy option than Son, but they both got the same amount of points, so that didn't really hold any substance. And then you look at the strikers. Calvert-Lewin gets an assist for an own goal. He's been getting a lot of these assists recently. He's not been scoring in the last 3 games, but he's got an assist every single time. They're all fantasy assists, really. So pretty fortunate there, but you know what? It's still some points better than having 2 like Kane. So there we go. And Bamford, he's so frustrating. But that's something I knew before bringing him in, because that chance he missed against Man United, it doesn't matter if Man United end up winning, by 6-3 or whatever, but he has to be putting that away, and he didn't. But he's going to keep on getting chances. He's got the most goals from open play in Europe's top 5 leagues, with the exception of Lewandowski. So you know what, Bamford's still in my team. And then, like I said, the bench, hopefully it's not too bad. Hopefully Soufal's not getting a lot of points on my bench and stuff like that, but it is possible. And like I said, very mixed bag, because although I got 63 points, and it's the sign of a good team when you have a captaincy blank and your team still does incredibly well. Of course, the captaincy decision, getting rid of Diaz, at the wrong time, getting him in at the wrong time. I bring him in, he gets a 0-pointer, an own goal, and then when I take him out, he gets full bonus points and a clean sheet. But I did say before taking him out that there's a big chance that he can get a clean sheet in the next few games, even against Southampton, and he did. What I didn't expect is the 3 bonus points. And if you look at the bonus point system for the Man City game, all of the defenders at least got 1 bonus point, which is something unheard of, to be honest, and especially with Manchester City. But yeah, I have to say I've reconsidered my stance, and one mistake that I'm making in the last few, and I hope you lot learn from this by looking at me make the mistake a lot of times, is when you make a decision, it's best to stick with it and give it time to kind of bear the fruits. So for example, when I got rid of McCarthy for Martinez, McCarthy started doing extremely well and Martinez was struggling. And if I, for example, changed the keepers, despite not thinking about fixtures and form and how Villa are playing, maybe away from home they're better, which is proven yet again, I wouldn't have gotten the points from Martinez recently. So if you keep changing stuff, and I've heard some people do the same with Mane and Salah, they bring in Mane, he doesn't do well, they then bring in Salah, then he doesn't do well, then they take him out, and then Salah just does a madness. You have to give things time. And in my case, maybe I don't regret getting Chilwell back in, but maybe I should have got rid of Zuma instead and got Chilwell back in, or just, got Diaz for Zuma in the first place. And you know what? That's why I'm going to use this game later on to see, is Chilwell's attacking threat, on a consistent basis enough, for me to warrant the 6.2 million? And is Zuma really going to get a lot of points aside from the odd header here or there? Or are the headers sustainable because he's that good in the air? All these questions, of course, they can't be answered with one game. They can't even be answered over 3 or 4 because things keep on changing. But I am considering getting a City defender back in, and it's just stupid. I mean, I have to admit, it's pure stupidity on my part. But then again, you look at City's fixture run, you look at their clean sheet returns. I will have to say, though, they've been very fortunate to be keeping some of these clean sheets. I mean, the Southampton one, could have had a penalty, the one on Danny Ings, and they could have really scored a goal. But looking at my team for game week 15, and I have to say the fixtures look outstanding on the most part. Of course, there's a few that maybe, doesn't look that good. But Martinez at home against Palace, and so is Grealish. Now, like I keep on saying, Aston Villa are very inconsistent, and at home they tend to struggle more so than away from home. But Martinez and Grealish can still do very well, of course, and Palace have just lost 7-0, so they're either going to be producing a big bounce and they're going to give a great response for their fans, or they're just going to produce more of the same. Maybe not 7-0 standards, but they could just be in there and not really compete with Aston Villa. So we'll have to wait and see there. Chilwell is facing Arsenal away, and I would probably bench Zuma because Chilwell's more likely to get points. But then again, from set pieces, Arsenal have been struggling lately with crosses as well, so Zuma could be a fantastic, choice. So it's very difficult decisions to make. Then I've got Walker-Peters away to Fulham, and although Fulham have had a bit of a turnaround recently, Southampton, I would expect them to do very well, and the fixture's still very good, and I wouldn't want to bench Walker-Peters for that. Soufal's got Brighton at home. Brighton were struggling against 10 men, Sheffield United, so not very impressed with Brighton. Then again, they could score, and West Ham are a bit of an iffy team, but Soufal could do very well. So like I said, the fixtures across the board look very good. Even, Chilwell away to Arsenal at the moment, it's an easy fixture. Son and Kane away to Wolves, who have been decent recently. That is a bit of a tough one, so I can understand why some people would want to get rid of him. But then you look at the turn of fixtures. This is what kind of produces a conflict. But then again, like I said, the underlying statistics for both Spurs attackers just aren't there. And Son is just hugely overperforming his expected goals anyway. And you would expect a drop-off. Maybe it will start to happen. Spurs, they have dropped points in the last 3 games, which is concerning for their fans. They could move to 7th if Man City and Chelsea win their games in hand. So, if they went from top of the table to 7th in the matter of 2 game weeks. And it just shows there's not really there's not a room for error in terms of the league table. And we'll have to wait and see how these lot do. But I would want to use this Wolves game to assess them. But if I don't like what I see, even with some of the great fixtures coming up, maybe for Game Week 19, getting the likes of Vardy for Kane, that is something I'm seriously considering. And I have to admit, Jaime Vardy is not someone I've considered all season. And he's still scored a lot of penalties, but he's getting the points. And, I don't care. It's a bit like Bruno. A lot of people say he's a penalty merchant. He scored another one yesterday. But he gets the points, and that's what you ultimately want. So Vardy in for Kane is a serious consideration. And like I said, I know it sounds stupid, Diaz in for Zuma, maybe Chilwell, but most likely it would be Zuma. But I could already imagine, I'd get rid of Zuma, get Diaz in, Newcastle score a jammy goal, and Zuma scores a header against Arsenal, and we're back to square one again. So it's very important to stick to the decisions you make. So maybe if Chelsea keep a clean sheet, I'll have more confidence in, what I've done there. But I have to say, when I look at my midfield, I'm very confident in it. My attack as well, although, like I said, I may make a change with Harry Kane. It's the defence that I'm most insecure about. That's why I've been chopping and changing, and I've literally been doing a yo-yo in terms of transfers. In terms of the captaincy, though, I have to say, of course, I'm not going to be considering the likes of Bamford, even Calvert-Lewin, who has a great fixture, and he is a good captaincy option. But I think it's just good to make it simple. And I said this last week for Kane, but even more so now. Salah against West Brom at home. They lost 3-0 to Aston Villa, and Liverpool just won 7-0. Salah got a rest as well, and he's still got so many points. He could even be a great triple captaincy option this week. It's something that has crossed my mind, I will admit. Although I'm not saying I definitely will activate the triple captaincy, but this is a serious possibility. And when I do my live stream later on this week, I will be discussing that, and you will see whether I actually activate it or not. But it's just a great fixture, and Liverpool are in great form. They're at home, Salah's record overall, and especially at home, and against some of these lesser sides. I mean, this could be a big one. Although the last win at Anfield was, I think, for West Ham under Sam Allardyce. So you never know. Things are very weird in football. But Salah's just a great captaincy option. Even Bruno away to Leicester. I know Leicester have been pretty decent, in the last few, barring a few couple, weird results. But Bruno as my vice captaincy, I would rather that than Kane or Son, although they can do well, and even Calvert-Lewin. But maybe I will change the vice captaincy, but the captaincy will not change. And I'm even more confident this week in terms of captaincy. I'm finally getting it right because, when you get one captaincy decision wrong, I wouldn't say it dents your confidence, but it's not ideal. And then when it happens 2 times in a row, you kind of start to think, well, I need to get the next one right, because that's ultimately the difference right now between me, going up in rank from 70k to maybe 50k or onwards, to being, going back down a bit to 94k, and also getting rid of Diaz for his 9-pointer. We'll have to wait and see how Zuma and Chilwell do. Hopefully they do very well. But yeah, it's very frustrating. And some of these decisions, like I said, I have to iron out of my game because, for the most part, I've, kind of not played too many risks, and I've kept things fairly consistent, a consistent structure. That's why I've had a good rank all season. But, it's not going to stay like that if I'm going to keep chopping and changing in certain things. But I want to hear your thoughts. Should I get Jaime Vardy in for Kane despite Spurs' fixture swing coming up very soon? Do you think I should get Diaz back in? Although, of course, the last time I did get him back in, he scored an own goal and ended Manchester City's 608 minutes without conceding a goal. Well, let me know. And in terms of the captaincy, do you agree? Is Salah the standout? Should we maybe go something different? I mean, in my opinion, no. But, it's always good to have a second opinion. In terms of my bench, like I said, Zuma at the moment is my first substitute. Got Basuma second and Kilman third. And to be honest, if I do get Diaz in, it would probably be Diaz in my starting lineup and Chilwell benched. But then again, I don't know. I just think that Chelsea have a great opportunity to win at the Emirates. So you never know. But that is my team. Like I said, the fixtures look great. We've got a week until the next deadline. We've still got some more games today, and we'll have to wait and see how Chelsea do against West Ham and how Burnley do against Wolves. But yeah, this league has been very weird to say the least, and we'll have to wait and see what happens at the end. But thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, smash the like button, subscribe if you're new around here. We're trying to get to 2,000 subscribers, and I really appreciate everyone who's been supporting the channel. And any feedback I will be listening to. I'll be putting up more polls, and I've listened to all your feedback on that, and also just on my videos, and I really appreciate it. Hopefully more green arrows to come. Very disappointed in terms of, some of the decisions I've made recently, but on the whole, my team, like I keep on saying, I'm very happy with. And as for the double game weeks and the blank game week, I always say the same thing. At the moment, my plan is to free hit in game week 18, but I have to admit, maybe I could make more use of my free hit, because I'm not too confident in game week 18 anyway, regardless of the players I do get in. And then as for game week 19, maybe stick with something similar. And I know if I do get rid of the likes of Zuma, he's got a double game week in game week 19. And when you look at Diaz, for example, he doesn't. But he does have that game week 18 fixture, which Zuma doesn't. So, there's a lot of things to consider here, and which chips to use and when to do it. Like I said, there's going to be more blank game weeks, double game weeks to come. And that's why there is a possibility of me holding all of my chips and just going at it for game week 18 and 19. But of course, I will make a final decision closer to the deadline of game week 18 and 19. But at the moment, I am holding to what I'm saying and free hit in game week 18 and using my team right now for game week 19. But we'll have to wait and see. The wild card, the second wild card we get in game week 16, I probably want to be saving that for much later on in the season. But thank you for watching this video, and hopefully you found it useful, and hopefully you've had a good week, and all the best of luck for game week 15 and onwards. Have a great Christmas and Happy New Year, and I'll see you next time.